It's the anti-checker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulty.
Whoa, camera's all, hold on. Didn't realize the camera's all messed up because I was screwing around with it earlier. All right, there we go. What's going on, YouTube? Michael J. Crawford, the anti-checker here. Was just on Midnight's Edge After Dark. Sorry for getting such a late start. It's funny because in a little while, probably about an hour, I'm going to have to go because I have to go with the wife to Nashville International Airport and pick up the little Miss Anti-Trekker who's flying into town to stay with us for a week, along with, I don't know what you call her boyfriend, so Mr. Turd. So we're going to pick them up in a little while. Their flight gets in about 2 hours, so we're going to have to leave in about an hour. Anyway, so let's get right into it today and see what you guys have to say. Looks like Azine was first in the house, says hey. Commander Shran was second, says hello. Quantum Leaper says hello. And I almost said Quantum Leper. I can't believe I still read it that way. Sorry if I look a little weird. I'm trying to move my leg to an elevated position so it's not hurting as bad. Darth Revan says not first. Oh, Jason said howdy, howdy. Darth Revan's not so far from first. And Quantum says I'm one of the first. Darth Revan says I'm first. Multi-Gunman says no, my name is Una and I do not sing Turtistani Lies. Well, I didn't say you. So, yeah. Greetings from Columbus, Ohio, says Mike Richards. Good to see you, my friend. Quantum says it's been such a long time. It has indeed. I'm glad that you've been back. Mark says, in addition to spinning Spock, you have to do an opera Spock. Actually, I was talking to Joshua earlier today. I got an idea of what to do with, as far as with the latest revelations of Spock and how we're going to work that into a super chat. The Renegade says, good eye. Multi-Gunman says, hey, Trekker, how's it going? I'm hurting like an SOB, but I'm here. Took a bunch of OxyContin just before I went on Midnight's Edge, and so feeling tolerable as far as the pain right now, but in a few more hours, it'll be back to the crap. Uno's the feminized version of Uno, which is number one, grown. Yep, that's exactly right, and so that's so stupid. So number one's name is literally number one. Hello. Quantum says, what happened to Spock's beard? And Thomas throws $1.99 and says, hi, former Turkestan president. Whoa, former. And number two, I know I haven't been in the game much lately, but I must have missed something.
I'm a better female character than you.
You would be if you didn't spend all your time with that temper tantrum meme guy.
At least I'm not the one on a show with a questionable acronym.
Take it back.
No,
Yes,
no,
yes,
no,
yes,
no,
yes,
no,
yes,
no,
yes,
no,
yes.
Oops. Sorry to bother you.
Yes. And that is so appropriate. If anybody's seen the Midnight's Edge show that I was just on, that's a very appropriate super chat to start with. And I know you were there, Thomas. So let's see. Where was I? Multi-Gunman said, I think I read that. Isn't the cage non-canon like the Minagory, which I assume you mean the menagerie? Well, Darth, actually, it's kind of funny because you could argue that the cage is not canon because the cage was not aired as part of the original series. However, because of the menagerie is canon. And even if the menagerie were not canon, Discovery, as much as we all hate it, is canon. And in Discovery Season 2, they established that the cage did indeed happen. They had flashbacks to the original footage from the cage, and they had direct references to the Telosians and what happened during the cage. What happened to Spock's beard? Well, if you watch Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Spock shaves it in the season finale for no reason. Jason says, hooray, Trekker saves us from Lorehead. Just kidding, he's a good dude also. Yes, I didn't know. Is Lore streaming right now? Because I honestly did not know. Yeah, I can never keep track of this stuff. Darren says, what's up? Has Mead warmed you up now? Is this stream going to be a scorcher? I don't know that I'd say it's a scorcher, but I'll tell you, that episode of Discovery, well, the short trek, it wasn't really an episode of Discovery. If anything, it was a short trek about the Enterprise. Man, I still can't get over that. Is and we all agreed on Mead. That was the death of Star Trek. That was it. It's over. There is, unless they completely get rid of everybody at CBS that currently has any involvement with Star Trek, it's done. Might as well just. And I hate to say that because I love me some Trek. So, I'm so mad. I'll be right back. Got to go downtown for a minute. All right. Strange. Hey, it's the amazing disabled man. He can scream into the clouds. Okay. Chase says, greetings from work, Trekker. It's been ages since I've caught a stream. Well, good to see you. And I was like, that name sounds familiar. And so were you on, did you have that same username when you were on before? If so, welcome back. Mr. Miles says, watch out. There's a giant spider on your chest, and it's already started to wrap you in webbing. Oh, crap. And Darth Raven says, will the Little Miss be making an appearance? Probably later this week, yes. I'm going to try to, because now keep in mind, Little Miss Anti-Trekker, as well as Mr. Turd, the boyfriend, have been on the show once before, back in, I think it was February when I was out in Portland helping deal with Mrs. Anti-Trekker's mom's estate. We did one live stream from their place. So since they're going to be staying with us for about a week, I'm hoping that they'll be willing to come onto the show at least one night and hang out with you guys. And so Mr. Miles says, top chat to live chat. Yes, sir. And Cree for what? Yeah. Mike Richard says, today is my rebirth day. My heart transplant is 14 years old. That is awesome, Mike. That is freaking awesome. And so, and let me ask you, Mike, because I don't personally know anyone that's had a heart transplant. Is there a point at which they say, well, you're pretty much out of the woods as far as having to worry about the heart? Or are you always going to be kind of paranoid since you have someone else's heart? And there is Thomas's Buck99 talking about how I'm the former Turtistani president. Oh, goodness. Darth Raven says, Una is an Irish name, Flat Earth confirmed. Okay, not sure why Una being an Irish name confirms a flat Earth, but okay. John DeMarco says, hello, how you doing? Quantum says, hey, Trekker, can I visit this coming Saturday? I'm not 100% sure what's on the agenda, but are you going to be in town this coming Saturday? And if so, send me a message on Discord and we'll make some arrangements, see if we can work something out. The singing reminded me of the Robot Chicken skit where Wrath of Khan is an opera. Yeah, kind of, yes. Except that the sad thing is that this wasn't a parody. This is canon. This is actual Trek. Don't forget to lick the like button, switch to live chat, ring the bell, and above all, hang out and have fun. Very good, Jason, and I agree with all of that. Darren says, so you know what the Una thing reminded me of? Han getting the name Solo because he enlisted by himself. No imagination, total cop-out. Yeah! I mean, it really makes no sense. You know, there are two ways you could play it out. Just give her a freaking name. It doesn't matter what it is. So her name could be freaking Betsy Ross. I don't care. Or, hey, go for something off the wall and related to someone else. Like, what if her name was Sarah Kirk and she was actually a relative of James Kirk, Or, any other, what if her name was Picard, And so there are a lot of things you could do. But to call her Una is just stupid. The other thing you could have done to make it make sense is just not reveal her name and stick with the whole number one thing. Which I think would be the smarter move at this point. And so, Turbo1889 says, everyone else, hello, finally managing to catching a live stream. Been a long time. Won't be able to stay too long, but nice to catch live. Well, Turbo, it's always good to see you. I'm glad that you made it here. And don't forget, if you want to catch a live stream after the fact, you can. You just got to go to antitrekker.com and you can find the live stream archive there. Although I may stop hiding the live streams because I've heard from some people it's not really making a difference on the algorithm. Mr. Miles says Discovery is not canon, not my canon. Well, I understand that, Mr. Miles, but of course, unfortunately, you do not own the IP of Star Trek, and so you don't get to determine what is and is not canon. Mr. Trent says, I was thinking about it. I think number one wasn't reading the report, but was narrating that report into her pad in the transporter room because she's the best ever. Well, yeah, she is, you know, and that's the thing. I don't know if she was dictating it or if she was reading it, but I find it really odd that what she is writing is exactly what Spock would be questioning her about. Like, is she psychic? Because when she starts asking Spock to ask her questions, he starts going right into the quantum torpedo, whatever crap that she had on her pad. And so it's like, what? Stuff disco in a cannon and then light the fuse. I would love to do that. Commander Shutters here. Glad to see all's well at the knee department. Even with my 8 knee surgeries, you have me beat with your bionic knee. Well, thank you, Commander. It's not all as well. It's just I'm on a lot of medication right now, but thank you. You can't really see my knee, but it's... Whew, it looks ridiculously swollen when it's next to my other leg. Josh says, how's the world's first bionic hobbit tonight? Hopping along, trying to make it through one more day. And every day is a little bit of a challenge. Tom says, I sent you a video of my ship attacking those pirate scum that almost destroyed the restaurant. Very cool. I will check that out, Thomas. I appreciate it. John DeMarco says, it's dead, Jim. Yep, Star Trek is dead. That's just... It's so sad to me. It really, really is. Why don't you just stay home and when your daughter gets in, you lie on the couch? Honey, is that... Come closer. I haven't seen... Daddy is so weak now. Have me a burger. Well, here's the thing. She doesn't live in this area. She lives in Portland, Oregon. So we're her ride to our place. So we kind of got to get her. I'm not going to make her take an Uber all the way from the airport. And so we've and Mrs. Antrekker is going to be driving. I can't drive. But Mrs. Antrekker wants me to come along because she doesn't like driving to the airport without a navigator. So, you know, being the great, awesome husband that I am, I will go with her. Renegade says, classic Trek will always remain. Indeed. I was... Honestly, when they first announced Discovery, I was excited about the idea of a new Trek series. Unfortunately, what we got was Discovery. Is Disco's canon, and so is Enterprise. At least that was real Trek. Well, true. I'm not saying Enterprise wasn't canon. I mean, even with my timeline theory that I came up with, I've never suggested Enterprise is not canon. Says Herman Schmeckelbeck says hello. Damn you, Herman Schmeckelbeck. Darren Wagner says, if you want to know what I sound like when I'm dog-tired and have no energy, check out my little review of the Picard trailer. I saw you posted that today. I have been, honestly, in way too much pain to do much of anything today. And poor Mrs. Antrekker, I gave her a hard time today trying, But yeah, I got up very early this morning. I had physical therapy, and that just hurt. Got back from... My plan was to try and then work on some stuff for Mr. Miles and for me so we can get some videos done this week. And I was just like, when I got back from physical therapy, I was completely wiped out. And the slightest move I made was causing excruciating pain. And so I had to lay down. Next thing I know, it's the afternoon. And we had to... do something. I can't remember what. Now, we had to go to the store for getting some stuff for when the little Miss Anti-Trekker comes in, which, again, I went with her, but I stayed in the car while she went in the store because, yeah, just not worth the trouble. Got back in a ton of pain again, so I took a triple dose of OxyContin, and now I'm at a tolerable level, which will wear off, unfortunately, and I'll be back to the excruciating pain probably about the time that we get back from the airport. Darth says, I was there. I paid you to eat an entire bag of enhanced edibles, and they abandoned you and got real sad and went home. There's a long story behind all that, although Little Miss Anti-Trekker did want me to express back then, and I think I did, but I'll reiterate that she really appreciated how kind you guys were. You know, she has a little bit of a problem with anxiety, and that was kind of hitting her, so that's why she had to step out. Doomcock just made a video about the 5 rules of canon. It's worth watching. Is it the same as his original 5 rules of canon video? Because I don't know exactly what he said in this one, and I can't remember the exact order of the 5 rules, but the canon starts with the original creator. Canon is linear. I'm trying to remember what else, but yeah, I remember his rules of canon. No later canon can violate prior canon, so it's chronological. So whatever came first is primary canon, and something that comes later that contradicts it, well, whatever came first is still primary canon. That's how Doomcock looks at it. However, unfortunately, Gene Roddenberry thought of canon as the exact opposite. He felt that canon was whatever the hell he wanted it to be at that time. And Josh says, is your daughter bringing the good pain meds with her? That would be a very silly thing to do on an airplane. Let me tell you, Josh, that you do not want to get caught smuggling stuff across state lines. So no. Daniel's in the house, says, hi, Ant Trekker, what's up? Well, the pain level is down right now for a little while I'm on the meds, but yeah, that's about it. Mr. Miles says, my grandmother once had a knee replacement. They ended up leaving part of a sponge in there. I hope they didn't. You didn't win the same lottery. That would really, really suck. Although it would make for a nice lawsuit. I'll give you that. They had to re-operate it years later. That's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it is. Says that singing in the short track, I think, might be the last straw for me. It's borderline Star Wars Holiday Special cringe. It is, and I said this last night during my live review, and I will reiterate right now, that is the single most tragic moment in all of Star Trek. That moment right there is the absolute death of the franchise, as long as it stays in the hands of the people that it's currently in. There's always a chance of rejection. They slowed down on cardiac testing after 8 years, but none of us die of old age. Well, Mike, my thoughts and prayers are with you, and so I'm very glad that you've gotten 14 years out of this extra heart. I'll tell you what, if I die before you, you can have mine. I mean, I'm not doing anything with it. Una means lamb or old one in Irish names, and also, what if her name was Charlotte Archer? Yeah, you see, you could do something like that. Hey, kids and nerds and old kids and old nerds. Hey, Epic. Mr. Mouse says, hey, Checker, Una versus Burnham. You see, now that's going to be the ultimate thing to determine now. So if they do an Enterprise show, and I think I think there's a good chance they will, that's set on the TOS-ish Enterprise with Pike, Una, and Spock. Are they going to basically just copy their incredibly successful formula with Discovery and make everything all about Una? And so, yeah. Multi-Gunman's back. Welcome back. Renegade says, so, if number one's name is Una, is Picard's dog really named Primus? Well, no, actually, they did establish in the new Picard trailer that Picard's dog is, in fact, named number one. People have been saying that for a while, but you can actually see it in the trailer now. So his dog is named number one, which I think is kind of funny. Darth Revan says, Andrew, actually, I've spoke to a few people on Discord once or twice. They asked why your live streams go dark. They tried to watch after the stream. Yeah, Darth, you can let them know. They need to go to antitrekker.com, and they can view all the live streams there. But the reason has to do with the YouTube algorithm. It's better for your channel if you don't leave live streams as public videos after they're done. John DeMarco says, in Una versus Burnham, I'd say Burnham wins because she has extra diversity points. You're assuming that's true. However, Burnham, while she has the ethnic advantage, she is heterosexual. We don't know the sexual preference of number one. So, that could even things out. And I would dare say in the modern political context that sexual diversity, it trumps racial diversity nowadays. We still haven't gotten Shark Treks. Well, we got our first one. Just remember, Checker, with each passing day, it's one less day of knee pain. You are right, Multi-Gunman, and that I'm really looking forward to when that pain goes away and I can actually, hopefully, start living something like a normal life. The singing says the singing almost felt as if the writers were intentionally asked each other what will really troll the old fans off for good. A musical episode of Big Bang Star Trek Theory. Yeah. That's one thing I said on me just a little while ago was that it really feels like they're intentionally trying to piss off the fans. Because, I mean, Spock singing, really? Could you get... I mean, the only way you could possibly go of a deeper insult than that would maybe to make Kirk gay. You know? That maybe. But, yeah, there's... I've got to work tomorrow morning. I need to get out of bed. See you later. All right, Quantum, take care of yourself. And let's see. If you think a swollen knee after surgery is bad, try having an inguinal hernia repair and see what swells with that. Sitting on the toilet, quite difficult. Well, I'm not saying I got it worse than anybody else, Renegade. I'm just saying that, look, I'm a wimp. I will admit it. I do not have a high pain threshold. I do, unfortunately, have a high tolerance for pain medication. That's a bad combination to have a low pain threshold and a high tolerance for pain meds. And so I'm not, even though, yes, I bitch and moan about it, honestly, I know that in the grand scheme of things, there are plenty of people that have it worse off than me. Rambling Canuck has it worse off than me. BIRDOPREY 5 has it worse off than me. So... you know, it's not like I've got the corner on the market and something like this. Now, granted, BIRDOPREY 5, I don't think is in constant pain like I am right now, but the man's been bedridden for 10 years. My God, I don't know how he smiles. He's an incredible man, and I've said this before, and I don't know if I haven't seen you here, Bird, but I've said it before, but Bird is truly an inspiration to me. Trying to picture you in physical therapy, I keep seeing Kirk doing that weird leg exercise in sickbay from the Corbomite maneuver. Yeah. Yeah, it was just like that, actually. Hit the like button, says Organo. I'm sure I butchered your name, but thank you. Tom says, hey, Trigger, someone in the Kurdistan military is spreading rumors that you were committed to the lunatic asylum. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. Mr. Miles says, has your knee started to itch yet? That'll be a good sign. It actually is itching a little bit, but the problem is that the pain is outweighing the itching by a substantial margin. But yeah. The itching has definitely begun. Multi-Gunman likes the Spider-Man shirt. Thank you, my friend. I don't even remember where I got this one. Probably Mrs. Antchecker got it for me, like most of my cool stuff. And Mr. Captain says, in Karoga, do they wear TMP uniforms? No, actually, in Karoga, they wear they're butt naked, and that way, and then anybody that has a larger set of genitals, the bird of prey, well, they walk up with some shears and trim them down, because Bird has a complex about that, which means that approximately 97.2% of Krogan males are eunuchs. Fun fact. Darth Vader says, tell her we thought she was great, and a great laugh. If you're talking about Little Miss A Trigger, oh, I know. She knows that you guys liked her. She had a good time with you guys, and I'm pretty sure she'll come on the show again. Darth says, oh, I was talking to Mary. I will DM you about it. She is fine, but in a pinch, give you all the details. Yes, please. I'm glad you're talking to her. Be sure to let her know that I've been thinking about her. I just haven't been able to reach out to a bunch of anybody. I mean, Mr. Miles will tell you. Mr. Miles and I usually talk throughout the day, and he hasn't heard from me in several days because of this. Except for the occasional, yeah, I'll get to that. The minute that number one started singing, Spock should have just stretched his arm out and neck pinched her or himself, but not join in. I'll tell you, you know, the funny thing is, when she finished singing, and Spock was just staring at her for a few seconds, what would have been in character for Spock would be to say something like, I don't understand the significance of this song. You know, what does that have to do with our current situation, or something like that. But not to actually start singing and then busting out laughing with her. That is like the opposite of Spock. Mr. Miles says, the Doomcock video is actually called Disney Ruined Star Wars by Violating the Laws of Canon. Well, I'd have to look at that, because I don't know that I would say that the biggest problems with Disney is violation of canon. Yes, there are some canon violations in the modern Star Wars stuff, but honestly, it's the character assassination that's really been the worst. Thomas says, where do you rank that short with all the others? That's a tough one for me, Thomas. I'm going to have to rank it eventually, and I'm thinking about doing a little mini-series on the short treks. But to be honest with you, my gut tells me it's the worst. Why is it the worst? Because this is the one that killed Trek. However, aside from that one shot, aside from actually seeing Spock sing and laugh, it was kind of average. It really, I mean, I thought, you know, yes, they were trying to establish that number one was a Mary Sue, but I was expecting that. And so honestly, it was average, but that moment completely killed the franchise. So my gut tells me it's the worst, but keep in mind, we have several more short treks to go. Oh boy. Daniel says, sent you a video message. Thank you, Daniels. I can't check it right now because it would take too much effort on my part. I'm not lying. I'm hurting way too much to try and bring up Discord or any of that stuff and start poking around. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Aaron says, great to see you back in business and feeling high, better. Can you catch me up? Theme of show. Well, we don't really have a theme today, Aaron. And actually, most of my live streams don't have a theme. We just kind of hang out and talk about whatever's on our minds. Whether it be Star Trek Discovery, this Abomination short trek, you know, even sometimes we get into politics and stuff. The only topic that we kind of shy away from normally is religion. However, I reserve Sunday, my Sunday morning live streams is when we open the floor to any kind of religious discussion. Multi-Gunman says, wait, WTF, a singing Vulcan? Yes, a singing Vulcan. What, do you think I was making it up? I was not. And in fact, you know, just because I'm such an awesome guy, I'll even bring it up for you to see, because, you know, sometimes misery needs company. And so, yeah, sometimes we just need to suffer together. And so let's see if we can find the appropriate. There's some Discovery action. We'll bring it over here and kill the audio so we don't get DMCA'd. And we'll go, okay. There's number one singing it. All right. So let's switch on. Let me see. Come on, you stupid. Okay, hold on. Give me just a minute, guys. All right, number one, singing. And yes, number one is singing.
I am the very model of a modern major general.
Okay, here it comes.
Short in matters, vegetable, animal, and mineral. You are the very model of a modern major general.
See, I did not lie. I did not lie. Una cerveza, por favor. I don't know what cerveza means, so I can't don't know. Just Spock singing was bad enough, but that huge laugh afterwards was the bottom of the barrel. Absolutely. Una, like in the Uno, the game, I don't remember singing. I know. The singing might as well have had cartoon birds and bunnies pop out. Yeah, absolutely. Number one could be transgender. You're right. That could definitely bump up her SJW quotient. Aaron says, Andros, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the new trailer. It gave me some feels, but I didn't see a story I liked yet. I'm somewhat hopeful, but I think CBS will dump a new lame cast on us. If you're talking about Picard, or are you talking about Discovery? I'll tell you that I'm working on full breakdowns of both, but the Picard trailer, quite frankly, it doesn't look half bad, but it doesn't feel right, and I'll get into that in my breakdown. There are a few things that kind of bother me about it, but overall, I think that, I like some of what they're doing. I just don't quite get why they're doing some things that they're doing as well. On the Discovery trailer, honestly, it's just showing me that, okay, so now they're 1,000 years in the future, and 1,000 years in the future, the entire universe needs Michael Burnham to save the universe once again. And that's basically all I got out of that trailer, which made me want to just, seriously just quit YouTube and become a hermit. And the Cage number one is attracted to Pike. The telepathic alien said so. Maybe so, but maybe the reason that when Pike said, when Pike was on the bridge and he said that he couldn't get used to having a woman on the bridge, and number one looked at him, and I can't remember exactly how did he phrase it. How did Pike phrase that when he said that? Because he said something like, well, you're different or something like that, or something. And so maybe he was talking about the fact that she is transgender.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
And thank you both, Orville Nation and I think it was Night Breeze, both threw a super chat in there. Let me bring up my Streamlabs dashboard so I can actually see it. Otherwise, I won't know what the heck that was. Bear with me. Was it $1? Was it $1 million? Unfortunately, it wasn't $1 million. But Night Breeze put in a buck, said, death to disco before they make Spock sing again. You got it, my friend. Death to disco indeed. And I'll tell you, I think that the singing was bad, but the smile and the laugh at the end, that was, and the funny thing, like Joshua, I'll tell you, Joshua has never watched an episode of the original series. He really, quite frankly, doesn't care that much about Star Trek. But when I had him come into the room when I was watching this short trek, and I showed him that sequence of him singing and smiling, and he looked like he was about to puke. He could not understand. He was like, that's the opposite of everything you've told me about Spock. So, yeah. And Orville Nation put $2 in. It says, looking good, my friend. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you, Orville Nation. Right now, thanks to the miracle of Oxycontin, I'm feeling okay. It'll wear off in a little bit because I'll tell you guys, I'm going to stop and go on a tirade for just a minute. I did something today that I've never done before. I wrote my senator. I wrote my senator, both, and I'm actually in the I wrote my state senator. I'm writing my federal senator. I'm going to write my Congress people, because Tennessee is under this whole drug embargo thing. So for those of you that don't know, there's this manufactured opioid crisis, right? That, oh my God, people are getting, narcotic prescriptions and taking them, and oh wow, it feels good to take them. And so people can get hooked on these drugs, right? And so what they're doing is making it impossible for doctors to prescribe these medications in enough quantity for it to be effective. So, like, in order for the pain to be under control, like for me to feel the way I feel right now, where the pain is tolerable, I have to take 3 of these little OxyContin pills. However, the prescription is for me to take 1 every 6 hours. And so, and then he gave me like a 10-day supply. So if I take 3, well, you can do the math. You know, so I don't have enough to get me through. So what I have to do, and what I am doing, is quite frankly not taking the pain medication as much as possible, so that when I absolutely hit rock bottom and I can't function, I can take a few of them in order to pull myself through a bad spot, like I did today. And so I wrote my Congress people, and I was like, look, what the hell is a person who's suffering from severe and or chronic pain supposed to do if you won't allow us to get a prescription for the drugs we need? I know I won't get an answer, but yeah. And where was I? Let's see. In the Cage, number 1 was... Oh, I already read that. John DeMarco says, yes, number 1, maybe a transgendered lesbian for diversity bonus. Yes. Mr. Miles says, it would have been funnier if Picard had gone senile like in All Good Things and was convinced the dog was Riker. That would actually be funny, but, you know, they would never do that. Didn't Spock sing in the hippie episode? No, he did not. He played his harp, but he did not sing. Spock sang twice in the entire, in Leonard Nimoy's entire career in Star Trek. He sang twice. He sang in the original series episode Plato's Stepchildren when he was forced to by mind control. And he also sang in Star Trek V, Row, Row, Row Your Boat. So, and that's it. Darth Revan says, I always said, if the day ever comes, I don't need my crutch. I'm going to frame it with a note on it saying 1 step at a time. Not bad, my friend. Not bad. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out something to do with my walker. And let's see here. So I'm just reading the stuff addressed to me right now, guys, because I am way behind. And you guys already know this is not going to be a particularly long live stream, so I don't want to get too far behind. And let's see. Daniel says, Nerdrotic Room, he makes vids in, reminds me of Spider-Man's room in the animated series, and the tune at the end of his videos reminds me of the theme song for Spider-Man in the animated series. I'm not sure what you mean by Nerdrotic's room. I mean, do you mean, like, is that a different, like, is that something other than just Nerdrotic's regular channel? I'm a little, you got me a little confused, Daniel. The Renegade says, I'm the opposite. High pain threshold, low tolerance for pain meds. I could even take the good... I can't even take the good stuff. It made me nauseous. I'm jealous of you, Renegade. I'll tell you, you know, when I went to the hospital on Saturday because the pain was unbearable and the swelling was going crazy, and they shot me up with morphine, right, which is, you know, supposed to be, you know, a nice, powerful narcotic and everything. And it took the pain level from about an 8 to a 7. Actually, more like a 7.5. It definitely, I could tell that the pain was somewhat less, but I was still wincing in pain. So, yeah. Let's see, I'm watching with the speakers turned up. My woman is in the background. She wants to know how many and how big is your biggest... wait, what? I am watching with the speakers turned up. My woman is in the background, wants to know how many and how big your biggest on is. Whisper, she wants to see if she has you beaten. Turbo? Oh, you're talking to Multi-Gunman, but you lost me. I'm not sure what you're talking about. We need an infomercial to show what all STD Spock can do. With the voice saying to show Spock can spin, sing, and now Spock can show motion better than TOS Ghost Spock. Yeah, oh man, there's so much wrong now. Let's see. Oh, talking about guns, it looks like, because Multi-Gunman saying, I have a 30, my biggest is a 50 cal. So I'm assuming you're talking about guns. I think the singing may have given me PTSD. I can't unsee that. Yeah, I know, exactly. It's like so cringy. And by the way, it's not just that. She sings the entire song. So that's like 2 minutes of this 14-minute episode is her singing. But the tests and the meds get better every year. I think the current record is... Oh, tests and the meds. Okay, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. Or wait, that's Mike. But the tests and the meds get better every year. I think the current record is 30 years. Not sure exactly what you're referring to. Turbo's talking to Multi-Gunman. I don't say it because the wife is, I don't want to ruin everything. Secret Hideout has obviously watched The Cage and saw Spock, whose character hadn't fully been developed yet, smiling and having outbursts, and said, okay, we can do whatever we want. Yeah, that's the funny thing is like, but even in The Cage, Spock wasn't that emotional. But whatever. Mr. Captain says, the fact that there's no real Star Wars trailer and it's October, that's a bad sign. That is kind of a bad sign, but let's be real. Star Wars has been dead for a while now. Star Trek is just following it into the grave. Nightbreed says, hi, and Trigger, hope you're feeling a little better. Well, right now, it's tolerable with the pain meds. So, yeah. Darth Roden says, hey, Trigger, check in your own time. No idea what you mean there. Oh, I see what you... Thank you, Mr. Miles, for clarifying on that. Una más. In a galaxy in which there are aliens with godlike powers like Q, the moment number one started singing, Spock's response should have been, Red Alert, the XO has been taken over. Yes. Oh, man. And the funny thing is that number one, at least in The Cage, was portrayed as very stoic. Jason says, Turtistain is the real war crime perpetrators. Actually, that's not true, Jason, but I understand why you've been brainwashed by the Kurogan dictator. So it happens. I'll take everyone's word. I will not pay for or watch free STD or Abomination Trek. Season 1 of STD was too much. Yeah, Epic, I will tell you, if you can make a clean break from it, do it. I can't, but if you can, do it. Darth Vader says, what the flying F is this crap? Oh, my effing Kurtzman grabs coat. Where are you going to kill Kurtzman? Okay, grab milk. Yeah. BIRDOPREY said, no free healthcare. Okay. Jason says, what video was it? Not sure what you're talking about. Thomas says, several. Orville Nations, $2. Thank you, Orville. I truly, truly appreciate it. Time for a coup in Kuroga. I think so, Jason. You should take over. Multi-Gunman says, yep, singing Vulcans. I do believe we've seen the end of Star Trek. Yep. If Una is a twin, is her sister Dos? I was wondering the same thing. The Renegade says, agree about the Picard trailer. Looks good, feels off, but I'm at the point I'll accept if it's better than STD. Well, I'm pretty sure it'll be better than STD. However, that's a ridiculously low bar. Now, I would actually go so far as to say that STD in general is better than what I just showed you guys. So, yeah. If number one is trans, then he, she, they could become captain. Fits into US. You're actually right. Spinning Spock with beard is 1,000 times better than clean-shaven, smiling, singing Spock. I agree with you there. And Darth Redmond says, huh, you're old. Yeah, I am. John DeMarco says, exactly. Even people who don't know Star Trek recognize the portrayal of Spock in the short Trek was totally wrong. Yeah. And it's like, if there's one thing that you would define Spock as, it's stoic, right? Or unemotional. And, if there's one thing you would never attribute to Spock, it's aloof and musical. I mean, when Spock is sitting there playing his harp, you think it's because he's meditating and it's a soothing sound and all that, and that makes sense, where he's just like focusing on the harmonics of the music while he's contemplating the meaning of the universe or something. Not that he's gonna jam, but whatever. Good on your writing, your senator. I write my senator daily just to tell her to F off. And Chief Cook says, pay. I'm not sure why. Mariah Sinclair says, hail Anti-Trucker, how you doing, Mariah? Nightbreeze says, BIRDOPREY 5 writes to a rep every day trying to get a date. Well, that's true, AOC. Turbo says, CBD oil is legal in every state but Idaho. I've heard it helps with pain, and it helps in combination with pain meds to increase their effectiveness. I've tried it in pretty much every form you can purchase it in this city, and honestly, didn't do a thing for me. I tried vaping it, I tried smoking it, I tried the topical oils, I tried edibles, nothing. And so, however, when I was in Oregon and I was able to partake in stuff that has stuff in addition to CBD in it, yeah, that stuff worked great. The problem is, and this is where it really pisses me off about this whole OxyContin thing, because that's at the center of this whole controversy, is OxyContin, because that's the drug that is the most effective at dealing with pain directly. I will tell you, OxyContin is a great drug. But, obviously, doctors should only prescribe it if someone genuinely needs it. That's how you prevent people from getting hooked on it. But, OxyContin works for pain relief better than the natural occurring herbal recipe that we were talking about. And I'll say that like that. I was talking to Mrs. Antricker about this actually earlier today. The natural herbal remedy you can only get in certain states. If you ingest enough of it, the pain will be completely unnoticeable, but at the level of pain that I'm at, in order to do that, I will be completely non-functional as a human being, right? I would have no motor control. Basically all I would do is just veg there and enjoy the sensation. So with OxyContin, I can take a far smaller dose, and it targets the pain and doesn't make me feel like I'm completely incapable of doing anything. I can still hold a conversation without forgetting what I said 2 seconds after I said it and stuff like that, which is an interesting effect of the other herbal remedy. Is that, and I don't know if it's a common thing with everybody, but for me at least, if I have a significant amount of it, then I begin to lose short-term memory to where I could literally be speaking a sentence, and by the time I finish the sentence, I forgot what I was talking about. Anyway. It's too bad scientists can't find some kind of alternative to painkillers. For example, temporarily numbing the nerves in certain areas of the body. Well, they can. It's just that they can't do that over a long term. And the thing is that, like, for example, they did a couple of nerve blocks on me for the surgery. And it's a bizarre thing because they effectively paralyzed me. And they made it so like I had zero sensation in my legs. I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't feel it if you did any, if you took a big old knife and just sliced into my leg, I wouldn't feel it. However, that's not an effective treatment of pain because it also immobilizes your legs. Mariah said, morphine never does anything for me. Yeah, didn't do much for me. I wish you could get you some cortisone, maybe even some tricortisone. Well, I don't know anything about the various drugs that are out there. I just know that right now I can't get anything that really does the trick for me. Miss Rana says, I'm not like either of you. My pain tolerance is high, but also my pain pill tolerance. That sucks. I mean, it's at least you have a high tolerance for pain. That's a good thing. Mrs. Anchecker has a ridiculous tolerance for pain. Here's how ridiculous, and by the way, any women in the audience that have had children, you'll appreciate this. When my daughter was born, she didn't have any pain medication at all because the labor came on rather suddenly and they just didn't have time. That day, she was ready to go shopping after she delivered the kid. She wanted to go visit with friends the day she had a kid. But they were like, no, you can't leave the hospital yet. And she was like, why not? I'm ready to go. She, for her, and she was never like, you always see in the movies and stuff, women going, I hate you, while they're trying to push out the kid. She never, when my son, who was significantly larger and actually had some serious complications during delivery, she felt it more, but the most she did was a little moan. Like, I will tell you that I yell and scream because of my knee right now. She was just like, and that's it. That's as far as it went. So, yeah. So I tell you, I salute Mrs. Antricker because she could take anything. I see Vikings winning Super Bowl when I take morphine. Okay. Well, then that's different. Antricker, they are filming Halloween Kills now, and they are filming flashback scenes back in 1978 when Michael Myers was in Haddonfield on the first night. That could be interesting, although quite frankly, I think they should have ended it with the Halloween movie they just did, because I liked that one. I didn't like that at the end they showed that Michael survived. I thought that was the worst part of that movie. If they had just let Michael die once and for all, I would have been perfectly fine with. But I know Hollywood, they just can't let go of a cash cow. I'm sorry to keep mentioning The Shining or the singing, but it may have actually made me the literal anti-trigger. I tell you, you ain't the only one. You are not the only one. Thomas says her singing wasn't bad. It's not. Here's the thing. It's not a commentary on the quality of her singing voice. Rebecca Romaine, yeah, she carried the tune. I don't think she did particularly bad. Ugh. And Echo Bass, thank you so much. Shows $1.99, says, glad to see you out of the hospital and back streaming. Thank you, Echo. I'm not my old self yet, but I'm hoping to be soon. Anyway, so it's not the quality of her singing that's the problem. In fact, it has nothing to do with her singing at all, except that if they're trying to be consistent with number one from The Cage, that's inconsistent because that number one would never sing a song. But that being said, it's Spock singing that's the problem. And it's not the quality of Ethan Peck's singing voice that's an issue either. It wasn't particularly stellar, but he was on key and everything. But it was the fact that Spock was just spontaneously breaking into song with a complete stranger and then laughing with her about it. Ironic, it seems the only canon the Kurtzman track follows closely is The Cage. Well, that's because they think that's the entirety of TOS. We need a super chat of you and Bird stuck in a turbo lift singing. That's a good one. That is a good one. All right, I do need to wrap it up here, guys. So I'm going to quickly go through some chats, and then I need to wrap it up because we have just a little over an hour before little Miss Anti-Trekker will be in town. I would laugh if her name is Una Ahayan, aka 1-1. That would be actually kind of funny. Sure, there was singing in classic Star Trek movies, but it was almost always done in a setting that made sense, around a campfire, etc. But in an elevator, out of the blue, yeah, it makes no sense. And Spock, of all characters. My theory is they destroyed Spock because people liked him more than Mikey Spock. That, well, could be. Because, yes, everybody, including myself, kept talking about how awesome Ethan Peck was and Anson Mount as Pike. And that how awesome would it be to see a Pike Spock series? And so what did they do? They I think the purpose of this episode was to say, oh no, if we do a Spock Pike series, it's going to be all about Una, and she's going to just replace Michael Burnham, and Spock and Pike are going to be doing her bidding. Maybe they're trying to say what happened to Pike got him so emotional he'll shut them all down and become TOS Spock. Well, Spock was a space hippie. Not yet, though. This is before the space hippies. Darren says, did T'Pol, Saval, or Tuvok ever sing? I think not. I think not as well, my friend. I think the current record for surviving a heart transplant is 30 years, but that info is a couple of years old. Well, Mike, I truly hope you set a new record. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, which is still my heart. Got one up on you. But I do hope that that you break that record. I don't know how old you are, but regardless, I hope you break the record. Dale says, Spock is giggly and full of whimsy. Yeah. When Spock plays his harp in TOS, look at the body language. He holds it close to his chest and is hunched over. It's a private moment, not jovial. Yes! And it's like, it's a meditation technique more than anything else. Turbo says, bummer, I was trying to suggest something that might help you with pain. I understand, and I appreciate that, Turbo, but yeah, I went that route, and yeah, I'm doing what I can. After your live stream, I'm going to watch a Short Treks trailer with singing Spock. Then I'm going to curl up in the fetal position and cry. Yep, that's not a bad idea. Epic says the herb is legal here. It only helps to a degree in my experience. Well, that's what I'm saying. You have to have a very large dose to take care of the kind of pain I'm in, and I would be completely incapacitated if I had that much. Which is okay for like if I was going to do something like that before going to bed, right? Just so that I could get some sleep. But yeah. I kind of get that memory problem with morphine. Oh, really? Okay. I suggest a bottle of whiskey. You can't unsee it. It's horrible. Yeah. Tom says they didn't knock you out completely. No, they did. But they actually did the nerve blocks first. And this is actually an interesting way to do it. So they did the nerve blocks first, and they tested it by having me attempt to move my legs, and then they like poked my toes and stuff to see if I could feel anything. Then they gave me a sedative to knock me out. The reason for that is because unlike, and I don't know why this is, but when they do a surgery on your leg region, rather than give you a general anesthetic, they do the nerve block because that is less risky. A general anesthetic basically puts you into an induced coma, and there's always a risk of you not waking up. And so if they simply do a nerve block and then a sedative, that's much, much safer. And so they prefer to do that. However, the anesthesiologist has general anesthesia there in case the nerve block fails. Dr. McCoy would have a good painkiller. Oh, damn right. I wish he was my doctor. Jay says, my fiance takes all that new natural herbal treatments here in Michigan for Huntington's disease. It's going to suck for her when we move to Pennsylvania in a year or so because it's not legal there. Yeah, see, that does suck. Darth Robin says, if you go to Portland, you should take an extra day and just veg out and record it, then grow dreads, and then come on a stream. Dude, cloud of smoke, so yeah, right there. Sci-Fi Sense is here, says, hello there. Sorry I'm late. Well, that's okay, Sci-Fi, although I'm just wrapping things up. Aaron says, the effect of that herbal remedy where you lose short-term memory is real, but when you take the herb again, you can remember those times you think you forgot. People call it high memory. Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't know there was a name for it, but yeah. It's like it's almost like your brain is a hard drive, and there's one section of the hard drive that is only accessible when you're taking that particular substance. And so you record the memories, but then when you're not on that substance, you forget about the memories, but then when you're on the substance again, it goes back to there, and yeah. It sounds like Miss Santry is a perfect Klingon woman with her pain tolerance. She is. She is definitely the perfect Klingon woman, and so yeah. And Echo Base is Buck99. Thanks again. Stephen Mim says, trying to do a super chat. System not allowing me. Is it me chat? I don't know. I've seen people have that problem before, Stephen. One thing you can do if you can't get the super chat to work is click on the link in the description for Streamlabs, and you can donate through Streamlabs. I actually get a better percentage if you do it that way anyway, but it still pops up just like a super chat. It just doesn't pop up in the chat, but I'll still read it. Sci-Fi says, is the title of your live stream true? If so, WTF? Yes, it is 100% true. Fact number one. Number one's name is Una. That is now canon. Fact number two.
Animal and mineral, short and matters.
Hold on, wait for it.
Vegetable, animal and mineral, you are the very.
Don't get cocky.
Short and matters, vegetable, animal and mineral, you are the very model of a modern Major General.
Yep, that's what they did to Spock. Michael Myers, bald old man. So she was named Una in one of the Trek books. That's where they got it. I'm not surprised. Una numerous. I love it. That should be. Jamie Lee Curtis looks like a grandma now. Yeah. Glad you're feeling better, man. Well, Stephen, I'm on drugs at the moment, but thank you. Dan says, Trigger. In Halloween 2018, they said that in 1978, his timeline, Dr. Loomis ran into the house and was about to shoot Michael out the window, but the policeman stopped him. Well, but that's not what happened in the movie. So they're going to retcon that? I hope not. Same thing for Sarah Connor. Too old for action movies. Make it even more laughable. Well, with Halloween, it makes sense. With Terminator, yeah, she looks kind of silly. That may be before the space hippie episode, but we don't know when Spock joined them in the first place. That's true. That I gotta respect that. Trek Reviewer says, in the TNG episode Disaster, one of the kids mentioned a song called The Laughing Vulcan and His Dog. Maybe STD Spock was that Vulcan. Does Spock have a dog? Nobody has a Celette named Ichaya, which would be the Vulcan equivalent. So you may be onto something. Night Breeze throws a buck in. Thank you so much, Night Breeze. I truly appreciate it. Tom says PA is most likely is going to legalize that remedy, but only the state will sell it. I'm not a big fan of the state selling it, but whatever. Then good for the people of PA. Number one was the dog, Laughing Vulcan, and his dog. And Night Breeze wants the Hypnoturd. All right. Let's see what we can do here. All hail the Hypnoturd. You must bow down before the Hypnoturd, for the Hypnoturd is love, the Hypnoturd is life, the Hypnoturd is you. Alright, sorry I know it's a little short, Night Breeze, but I'm running out of energy fast. Miss Sci-Fi says, how live as anti-checkers, editing servant, and miracle worker? Not sure what you mean. So the solution to curing short-term memory loss from that herb, just keep smoking it. Apparently, that's what they're saying. Darth Red says, dude, daughter, airport, leave. Have a great night. I will. I'm leaving in just a minute here. I'm keeping an eye on the time. And then Darth Maul says, replace Lord Reloaded in that Voyager super chat so the singing scene can cause the pain instead. I may do something like that, Darth. I may do something. Epic Period says, RIP check. There's no coming back. Yeah, it's over. It is freaking over. All right, guys. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I do want to say thank you for hanging out with me and being as patient with me as you all have. I'm really, truly hopeful that the knee problem settles down soon, and as a result, the back problem settles down as the doctors predict. So, with that, take care, have a great night, and whatever you do, try not to think of this.
You are the very model of a modern Major General.
It's Lieutenant Amin. Hang on, I'll have...